A very wise mother once said, "While we try to teach our children all about life, our children teach us what life is all about." For many years, Jennifer Hoynes, ASELSI Ministries Director of Physical Therapy, has been blessed to learn so much about life from so many children. Take Josue, for example. For this little guy, every day is a challenge. Just getting out of bed and taking that first step isn't easy, but somehow he does it, and he does it with determination. A great example for Jennifer when she was presented with a challenge and then taking that first step.
It actually came from a missions conference I went to several years ago, and I saw children in Africa that had been maimed and made lame from wars, and it just broke my heart because I realized so many people around the world didn't have access to basic therapy services.
Okay, so there's the challenge, bringing therapy services to those in need. Her co-director, Shazita Rivera, accepted the challenge as well. She too has learned a lot from watching Josue. He could have stayed in a wheelchair and never learned to walk, but there comes a time you need to get up and get going.
It's just so much we can do here in Chichi, and there's so many children and adults that are not being reached. So if we're able to train others in some other communities, we can help more people.
There's the solution, training others as they did here at ASELSI to help those people who can't travel in for help. Sounds simple, but as you watch Josue navigate today's challenge, you realize there are obstacles to the simplest of plans. Shez and Jennifer certainly have theirs. How's this for an obstacle? 45 miles over some of the roughest roads you'll ever see. Praying your engine doesn't die. Praying your tires stay inflated. Praying you don't break an axle and find yourself stranded in the middle of nowhere. 2 hours to travel 45 miles. It's not easy, but it is necessary to get to the town of Kanaya.
Oh, I like the challenge of seeing what's available locally and how we can make what's available locally work, and then encourage people to think with what they have available and how they can use that to serve the people.
What was available locally wasn't much. How can you set up a physical therapy clinic with this? Hey, that's what life is all about. The children back at ASELSI have been showing her no matter how puzzling the problem, you still can make the pieces fit, as long as you don't make things too complicated.
Trying to keep it simple. Sometimes we forget that we need to use simple words.
That was the plan for today's lesson in Kanaya. Okay, so there wasn't much equipment to start with, but there was a well-constructed, clean facility and 3 willing trainees. Maria, Ceci, and Jacinto were all eager to face the challenge of learning how to care for stroke victims.
Learning some of the new concepts, and then helping them to be confident to know that they have the education, and they really need to encourage people to do things and to do them correctly.
Doing things the right way, once again, what life is all about. Another lesson the kids back in Chichi have been teaching them. So Jennifer and Shez have been training the trio from Kanaya to never take a shortcut, never get sloppy, to teach their patients to do things correctly. It's been a long process to get things up and going in Kanaya, but as we've seen so many times back in Chichi, once you get over the hump, you tend to get on a roll. That's been the case in this little town as patients have started coming in for treatment.
We started with just a handful, and now we've got 19 people coming regularly.
Just like Jen and Shez have been coming to places like Kanaya regularly. Oh, sure, there have been a few bumps in the road. Finding willing volunteers isn't easy. Clinics like the one in Kanaya aren't easy to find, and the increase in cost for things like gas and equipment has tightened their budget considerably. But these outreaches certainly give credibility to the name of this not-for-profit organization, TCI, Therapy Clinics International. So, what's next? What village? What country? What continent? The challenges are huge, the obstacles never ending, but as Jennifer has learned from Josue and the other kids, you don't have to go it alone. You'll always need help. That help comes from God. He'll be the one leading the way. You just need to hold on to Him. The children would be the first ones to teach you. That is what life is all about.